No, he pointed to the when they were trying to get this.
They probably got a brand new board.
To be honest, I understand that's gonna take a couple of days.
No, it's weird.
Get all my insurance. I got a new one.
Organized and efficient. See what that's
I presented and there wasn't. I think it's something about lying. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, but they control the people right now.
Watch things. It's not a problem.
Evening. How are you? How am I doing?
Yeah, they're right on this.
Who was at town meeting yesterday? There you are.
Very easy going.
Like riding bikes, right?
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't turn out like the other two. Were quite difficult as games. Yeah. Well, she's saving it for later on. Which I've been told what girls do.
I
That's how far it should be. Between the back tire and the firewall. And that's how it is.
You gotta hook it up to your truck and lower it out.
No, everything is shifted over. Yeah, they all should be. Over here, they all should go over here. That's what the thing goes. Which, but yeah, wingman.
$2,800, sorry.
That's what the insurance company should be. Yeah, that'd be right. And everybody says,
Dude, that looks sweet. That turned out very nice.
I'm assuming because I thought there'd be another.
And that sounds good. I like how they did that.
No, make sure you sign in. That's sign in.
I'm not prepared. I got anything.
gonna call the meeting to order. Monday, September 8th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Herman? Here. Councilman Cramer?
Here.
Councilman Lonneville? Councilwoman Tabor?
Here.
Supervisor Johnson?
Here. Please be meetings called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We don't have any listed acknowledgements. Would anybody like to put anything on the table?
Sure, I'd like to thank Steve and the Highway Department for putting up the flag that broke down on Park, and also for hanging the fall festival banner.
They'll be looking at the sign in North Main Street that we have tomorrow. We missed it, I thought it was second,
Oh, okay,
it was on North Main, not south.
that's what, I went that way,
So,
I see it. Yeah, so it was on North Main, okay, good.
Could someone respond to my email about that? Just, so I have that on record that it's like, just being.
Well, I would have, but I couldn't find the sign.
Asking
I was
questions.
looking
huh?
at South.
no problem.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other acknowledgements? Moving on, we do have 3 public hearings, so we're going to get those out of the way first. The first one is local law 1, real property tax levy limit, and I'll have the clerk of the board read the legal notice, please.
Legal notice, Town of Marion, notice of public hearing. The Marion Townboard will hold a public hearing on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Marion Courtroom, 3827 North Main Street, Marion, for proposed local law number 1-2025 regarding the real property tax levy limit as follows. Local law number 1-2025, real property tax levy limit. Section 1, legislative intent. It is the intent of this local law to override the limit of the amount of real property taxes that may be levied by the town of Marion pursuant to General Municipal Law 3-6, and to allow the town of Marion to adopt a budget for the fiscal year 2026 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law 3-6. Section 2, authority. This local law is adopted pursuant to subdivision 5 of General Municipal Law 3-6, which expressly authorizes the town board to override the tax levy limit by the adoption of a local law approved by the vote of 60% of the town board. Section 3. Tax levy limit override. The town board of the town of Marion, Wayne County is hereby authorized to adopt a budget for the fiscal year 2026 that requires a real property levy in excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in General Municipal Law 3-6. Section 4, subability. If any clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law or the adoption thereof to any person, firm, or corporation or circumstances shall be adjusted by any court of competent jurisdiction to be invalid or unconstitutional, such order of judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder thereof, but shall be confined in its operation to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or in its application to the person, individual, firm, or corporation, or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. Section 5, effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of the State. This was published in the Times of Wayne County by order of the Marion Townboard, Heidi Levan, Clerk of the Board, Town Clerk, dated August 25th, 2025.
Excellent, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the floor up if anyone has any public comments or questions regarding this notice. Yes, Rob.
Has there been any justification given by this board for the need to override the tax cap?
So, the short answer is no. We usually don't offer formal justification. At this point, due to the rising cost of like insurance benefits, that takes up a lot of our 2% cap on a year-to-year end. It is almost a formality at this point that we have to override the 2% tax cap year over year. Not in my tenure, have we ever offered a formal justification for overriding the limit.
It would be nice to see that justification. Your other local elected board keeps under the tax cap every year. So I'm just curious on the reason why.
Well, we'll take that under consideration, thank you. Any other public comments or questions at this time on this notice? Public comment questions at this time? Okay. Go ahead and close the public hearing. Moving on to our second public hearing, authorize the use of contingency funds, and the clerk of the board will read off that notice.
Legal notice, Town of Marion, notice of public hearing, utilize contingency funds. Notice is hereby given that the Marion Townboard will meet and hold a public hearing for the purpose of authorizing the use of contingency fund balance for the purpose of funding a new .gov website. Further, notice is hereby given that the public hearing will be held on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Marion Courtroom, 3827 North Main Street, at which time all persons will be heard in favor or against any items therein contained by order of the Marion Town Board, Heidi Levy, Clerk of the Board, Town Clerk, August 25th, 2025.
At this time, I'd open up to public comments or questions on this notice. Any public comments or questions? Any comments or questions? Go ahead and close the public hearing, please. And public hearing number 3, authorize the use of reserve funds.
Legal notice, Town of Marion, notice of public hearing, reserve funds. Notice is hereby given that the Marion Town Board will meet and hold a public hearing for the purpose of authorizing the use of reserve funds for the purpose of employee benefit compensation. And further notice is hereby given that the public hearing will be held on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Marion Courtroom, 3827 North Main Street, at which time all persons will be heard in favor or against any items therein contained. By order of the Marion Town Board, Heidi Levy, Town Clerk, Clerk of the Board, 8/25/2025.
Excellent, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open this notice up for any public comments or questions. Public comments or questions? Any public comment or questions? Okay. Rise to close this public hearing, please. Okay. Moving on to our correspondence, we have a letter from the Marion Historic Association that has decided to read a notice. I'm assuming it's an event. Yes.
We received an email from Jennifer Hunter asking if we can, put a note on the next agenda for getting permission for the board, from the board, for the Historic Association to hold their haunting in the hamlet, which will be on October 11th. It's going to be after sunset at the cemetery.
So just looking for authorization.
Yeah, that is okay.
Then on for, what is it, 22 events, or September 22?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to our discussion points. Number 1, hiring policy, Councilwoman Tabor.
I brought this up a couple meetings ago, and I just felt since we put the hiring policy in place last week or last year, and we had some opportunities to, especially recently, to engage in doing interviews and such, that it would be time to review the policy. It actually states in the policy that it is reviewed annually. So I thought it might be a good idea to, or a good time to put out, you know, if there's any things we want to adjust or anything.
Good idea.
Do we wanna do it now, or do you wanna do it at a workshop?
I'm open to whatever.
Probably workshop.
I would strongly providing amendments in writing. That way we have something substantial to discuss and pass. Okay.
So do you want it back on for the next meeting?
Yes, please.
Discussion number 2, workplace violence policy. I have no new updates, just based off of what was discussed recently. Again, that's another one that's gonna have to be workshop, just to update, some small areas of our policy. When we want to tackle that, more aggressively, just let me know and we can start tearing that apart. Number 3, vandalism at the town park, Councilman Lonneville.
Yes, we've had vandalism in the park, not only with the outdoor bathroom, but I was up, putting up the community calendar last week, and then the display case outside, they had smashed the plexiglass. So I was just, it's a sad thing that we had more things at the park and they continued to wreck it. I wondered if we could do anything with the sheriff department so we have more coverage, because it just seems to be getting continually worse up there. So I don't know what to do.
Is it glass or plexiglass?
Plexiglass.
Okay, so it's tempered glass. Do we want to purchase a new display case?
I don't know if we're going to get a case or if you can
Like a tempered?
put the, it's just plexiglass. I don't know if you can just put plexiglass in.
Because I was kind of searching around Amazon a little bit. It looks like it's a nice 3-tiered, the same size, similar for like $400. So I'm not sure if we just want to replace it and move on or leave it broken for a couple weeks while we're deciding.
I think the way it is right now, it's two, I put the, there's 3 panels. The one where the have the stuff displayed is covered. I would leave that for right now unless the, if the vandalism cuts down. And I'll look to see what the size is and see if we can't get something.
Okay.
The unfortunate part, the images on the security system are fuzzy. I mean, there's 4 people, three male and female, but there was no, you can't make clear pictures on it.
Sure.
We had the pictures, when the kid was kicking in
The
the door.
bathroom.
So I didn't know if it showed up that night.
I looked, when you sent me the note, I looked,
Yeah.
and there was nothing. That area is a very busy area because it's on the main side of the pavilion, and there was nothing out of the ordinary that I could see.
So do we want to remove the, I mean, is the plexiglass picked up or do we?
I have not been there.
What it is, it's just smashed.
Okay.
It's just cracked. They just smashed it.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
still in place.
Gotcha. Removes the broken sections and leave the one that's intact, do you think, or is it all one piece?
I think we just leave it the way it is for now, and then we'll measure it up and see if maybe.
The only problem with taking that panel out would be that the board behind it would then get weathered,
Yeah.
and then it would be damaged.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like, I think the cost of just replacing the whole section is probably outweighs the time, maintenance, and energy to fix it at this point, but, if you want to take a closer look at it and come to a decision, that'd be,
I would like to do that.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns on the vandalism part?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, number 4, budget workshop dates. We're gonna go ahead and set our dates for the upcoming budget season time. So get your calendars out. And let's see. We'll start on the 6th. Yeah, October. We'll get a full session in, because we don't have a meeting that night.
Starting at 6:30?
Yes, please. Unless somebody else wants to start early.
Columbus Day?
No, that, I think Columbus
13th
the
is
next
Columbus,
meeting.
so we'll have our meeting on the 14th.
6:30 okay, do we want to start earlier?
That's fine.
6:30 good? Okay. So then, it's 10:14 will be our regular scheduled meeting. Start at 6 o'clock. You good with that? 6:30? Okay. again, alternating October 20th, 6:30. Then October 27th, 6 o'clock. And that leads us to November 3rd, which our budget is due on November 6th, so. Do we want to schedule our public hearing for the 3rd? Any thoughts on that?
Do you wanna wait, because you're gonna have to do a resolution to schedule the public
Right.
hearing anyway, do you wanna,
But just for our own calendars.
do you wanna wait to see how you do by
Get
October
a
20th?
couple meetings in, see how.
So the
they're going.
20th would, yeah, we need that 10-day notice.
Get a couple meetings in, see how they go.
Because, you know, if we don't have it that Monday, it's fine, but we would have to have it that week at some point, which again, 10-day notice, we can hold a special meeting and we can do that, but as long as we have enough time for notice, so we'll call it, October 20th for that decision.
I'm also wondering if we should look at October 6th and the 20th when we're starting at 6:30 and up it to 6 o'clock. Take us a little bit more time, that doesn't cut people too short.
I'm good with either one, 6 or 6:30.
Do them all, six,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I mean, it gives us 4 sessions to,
sounds good.
with board meetings scheduled in there as well to get the budget done.
I'm okay.
They just changed them all to start at 6.
Yeah, that was
Okay. Any other questions on that, those dates?
When will we be receiving the preliminary that we can take a look at prior to those dates?
Believe it is due on the 19th.
It's due to me by the 30th of September,
Right.
so, if you could have it to Kathy by the 19th,
Yeah,
that'll be on
that
the
was my,
agenda for the.
that's my
22nd.
calendar for my goal, so the 19th it is for the tentative. There's 2 solid good weeks before our first budget workshop. Any other questions on that?
No, but, you know, based on the question earlier from the audience, is there a certain date for the resolution for authorizing the tax cap? Because if we want to have notice, we're almost starting the budget process even earlier to justify the tax cap or have explainability of the tax cap. I know historically it's kind of, lack of a better word, unwritten and not much justification. Just a thought, just popped into my head after that question was asked this evening. And I have to decide right now, give it some thought.
What exactly are you asking? Like, for
Right, so we-
justification prior to the workshops or
Correct.
after the tentative budget?
After the tentative budget. So, I mean, what is the timeline to have the tax override approved? Because we can't do both at the same time, right? But not having the budget numbers and trying to be, I mean, some of it's historical value, we know, but then some of the things that we're either planning or surprises that we don't know until October, November, when can we do the tax cap override? So my thought process is wrapped around to justify, I have no problem justifying it, do we have to move the budget process up so we have a ballpark figure going forward? Or when is the latest possible day to do the tax cap override?
So it's for a resolution tonight?
Right.
Are you looking not to do it tonight?
Well, do we have a cutoff date? That's, I guess, my question.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, David, but it has to just be done within the year.
We done-
There is a cutoff date, if my
Correct.
recollection's
There is, I don't remember. I don't
And that
remember
is
the
set
date.
by the state,
Right.
and typically towns will override the tax cap protectively without making a
Right.
decision whether or not they're actually going to override the tax cap. So you're just preserving the possibility that the town does it. Otherwise, your hands are tied if you don't. So if you were to pass that resolution tonight, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna override the tax cap.
No, I agree, but to the question, you know, to me justifying why we're doing it, or if we don't need to do it, then don't do it, right, at the end of the day, but I'm okay with having justification for it.
I would recommend doing it regardless of your intent, because there are situations where you may think that you're not overriding the tax cap. When they factor in special districts and things of the like, they conclude that you are. So to err on the side of caution, the town generally should authorize de-overriding. That said, nothing's preventing you from, if and when you make that decision, explaining why, you could do so then.
Yeah, so so we'll keep that on the agenda, and we will pass that tonight. Now, to the point of the justification, I mean, we can always, as a board, as a courtesy, offer, those justifications prior to passing the final budget for transparency, and say, this is what is going on, these are the numbers. Like I told Rob, past few years, it's been blatantly obvious why we have to override the tax cap because of costs outside of our control. So I'm not concerned about justifying it. It's pretty simple because of the cost. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We have an opportunity for change. I have no problem with it, but I also don't think we should plan in a year budget 8 months in advance either. I mean, sometimes it gets hairy, just taking the numbers from the first 3 quarters of the year to try to forecast for the next year to try to be accurate. I mean, some things don't change much, and there's other things that do change a lot. Nope, that's fine. We're good.
Okay, any other questions on the workshop dates? Now that we have those set. Okay. Number 5, discussion number 5, part-time parks and rec staffing. Okay, so I put this on here, I wanted to clarify a few things because I am finalizing the tentative budget. I know there were some talks and some recommendations from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board regarding a part-time Parks and Rec director or supervisor or whatever we wanted to title it for civil service. At this time, I was gonna put that in the budget, I was gonna plan for that and get the board, get the feedback during budget workshops. At this time though, I believe due to the development in our HR situation and that ongoing issue with the lack of our HR department that we have here, I'd like to remove that possibility for a part-time rec director and move it to a part-time personnel clerk, a senior personnel clerk. It's civil service, it's around $21 an hour, part-time, full-time, and this person would come on board for all HR-related account management. Payroll, retirement accounts, benefits, vacation, sick time tracking, hiring, onboarding, tech access, emails, W-4s, and physical asset inventory. I feel very strongly about this position, and I would like just thoughts and opinions on that swap per se in the personnel department.
How many hours are you talking when you say part-time?
So right now, full-time at the civil service is 37. Some roles, depending on what they are, goes by title are 35.5. So that's full-time. So part-time would be anything up to that.
Pay scale for that individual?
So the civil service title that starts at $21.08 per hour.
So we're looking to remove Kathy?
Oh, excuse me. It would just be HR related services, not account, not principal account duties. Just removing a hat, per se.
Have to think about it, have to run the numbers. I never really gave much thought, so, something to think about.
Well, like I said, I'm working on finalizing the numbers for the 2026 budget, and my intention, just so no one's shocked, when they see it, my intention is not to plan for a part-time rec director through the Parks Department, but instead to fund a part-time senior personnel clerk. So that's gonna be the difference that we see moving forward in the tentative budget.
How does that fit in with
doesn't, and I will say that, you know, I think a lot of thought has gone into building a Parks and Rec department. And I think, you know, there's been conversations about coordinators putting in a lot of work for what they do, and a rec director or rec supervisor, as had been researched into, could really address some of that additional workload. So I think there's a lot of different things to think about. It. We also wrote into that grant that I talked to Kelly about at the county today, and they're waiting to hear back on the scoring of it, and if we get that grant, money was put in for a part-time Parks and Rec director. So, you know, I think we need to take that into consideration. I think that there's some things to really just kind of work out and really decipher what is a priority for the town.
So in this year's budget, did you have a Parks and Rec director in our budget for 26?
Are you asking that?
Me, I haven't seen the budget. It was, Summer reached out to, I think Joan and Holly.
Yeah, they did all, they offered their recommendations and, some preliminary numbers, and
So we do have a budget for it.
it is not written in my tentative budget at the moment, no.
But we do have a budget.
Part of the,
But
to
it-
your
So
point, part of
yours
the
is over
grant.
here, but they've got a budget in part, and
Well, no, they offer, they're not department heads, they offer recommendations, there is
Yeah.
no parks department head,
but we have Margie, who's
not a
there.
department head.
She is Parks and Rec. So they would give her the numbers, and she could plug it into her side.
No,
Why not?
that's not how we do it.
That's
If there's no department head, then it falls back on the budget officer to fulfill those tentative numbers. We do not have board members fill in department head columns for budgets. They have to be department head or the budget officer.
If we need to look at the civil service definition and job description for a senior part-time HR clerk and what it entails, and then
Yeah, I can send it.
I can look at it too. I don't memorize them, so before I can make a thought to go left or right, I have no problem looking at it.
Yeah, not really looking for a decision, just
Yeah.
kind of put it on the radar of what's coming down, in my proposed budgets. And it is a priority it should be a priority for Marion. I think our HR operations should be a priority over our Park and Rec operations, yes. I will put that on record. But to your point, Councilman Tabor, I am planning on accompanying funding the part of the grant of the match of the 1 year position, because that's what it would be for 1 year if it's a grant. So that is on the table still, just nothing full-time or long-term.
Right.
All right, any other questions or comments on that discussion item? Okay. Moving on to this discussion number 6, part-time highway department workforce development. So again, I put this back on here to get kind of a feel of, get some feedback based on the presentation from the union on the workforce development plan, to bring on 1, maybe 2, I'm thinking more 1 to start, part-time, non-CDL holder workers into the highway department to build up our future workforce, and what our thoughts were on that, because I wanted to, if I was gonna take the time to do the, to do the work and put it in our budget, I wanted to make sure that's something that we were on board with developing.
What did the highway department recommend?
That was approved, that was an approved recommendation,
Not a full-time, but a part-time?
of part-time, correct.
You mean moving forward, not for what our current need is?
So this will be for 2026.
Okay.
And there would be part of the bargaining unit as a part-time employee?
They could, just like any employee, they can participate in the contract, but they don't have to. you know, we did put into the contract some areas that will only apply to the part-time workforce development employee. Example, how they accumulate their sick time throughout the year, because it's gonna be different than the full-time employee. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's what we discussed. So there are gonna be, you know, sections in movement, like woven into the contract that address that. But once they're full-time after a year, if they're in good standing, they wanna stay, they wanna continue their education, their training, we'll provide them with the funds to help them get their CDL permit and move that forward to stay with Marion and hopefully the next 20-year worth driver.
So at that point, after the first year, they become a full-time employee?
Correct.
And that has been okayed by the highway department?
Correct. Their steward and the union have approved, I would say, or promoted this.
I think we can look at it.
And if you wanna add anything else on that?
Oh, you know, after this year, aging workforce in the highway department, getting somebody younger, see if they're dependable and stuff, is really what this part-time position's really for, to make them full-time and then send them off to get a CDL, and not necessarily, you know, hinder what you need to do as far as already needing that position filled, you know? So this is just adding more to what you need down the road.
So I was planning on, again, putting into the 2026 budget what that looks like. I'll work with Kathy, finalize the numbers of what that would look like. But just to kind of reiterate, this part-time person, you know, the highway department has shown, you know, kind of excitement to have someone that's available to water the flowers, empty the trash, clean up the park, you know, learn the shop, you know,
Clean up the graffiti at the park.
clean up the graffiti at the park, you know, wash the vehicles, just hands-on experience, being around the work, being around the guys, and also allowing our full-time CDL workers to focus on more, you know, substantial work, I would say. So, yeah, that's also coming down on the budgets. Any other questions on that? Thank you. Number 7, Historic District Councilwoman Herman.
Yes, I'd just like to clarify that the laptop turned into me by the Marion Historic Association was a former historian's device and is recognized as town property. In no way was I implying that the previous historian failed to return any equipment assigned to them upon leaving their position. Thank you.
Oh, that was the old one?
It was the one that doesn't hold a job.
Discussion number 8, budget numbers, anticipated healthcare costs, etc. Councilman
I
Cramer.
think we addressed most of it. Any updates on the healthcare costs?
They are meeting this week, the county, so hopefully we'll have numbers very soon. I know a lot of people are kind of bated breath on those. Okay, number 9, update on highway contract negotiation, Councilman Cramer.
I questioned where we at. I know you were working on them. I see Adam's here, so I'm assuming that we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah, so, the current status is, you know, a tentative agreement is being drafted, and the union, the shop guys, they are ready for a ratification of the contract. In my opinion, we have, settled up any finalization on the negotiations of where we are, if I'm not mistaken, and we're ready to offer.
We're waiting on healthcare numbers, just the
That's it.
same as you guys,
Yeah.
so.
But we're still maintaining the 85% coverage, in prior years, regardless of what those healthcare numbers are, we maintain 85% coverage. 3-year term, and then a draft of the tentative contract. I'm hoping we'll have that to be available by, I think we talked September 22nd by our next board meeting.
Thank you.
Discussion number 10, RFP for town park door.
Yeah, so I put the tentative RFP together, sent it. I didn't get any feedback except a thank you. Those are the things that I was looking for ADA approved, egress, emergency egress, and then I'm not sure who we should send it to. Was looking for some feedback. I actually reached out to some door companies and construction companies. I didn't know if anybody had a preference. And I put the date of October 31st, because I want to make sure that we have the right vendor, the right contractor, does the due diligence, goes up and looks to see what we have. And, you know, it's probably not gonna be cheap to do. Just find a lock mechanism to fix that, it's not cheap, it looks like the door, it's got some integrity issues as well.
I think the only question I had, or you answered, but then also, I still like the contact info for the RFP, it lists you as the contact information, I'd like to see Kathy as the contact.
That's fine.
Yeah, just for contact.
Like I said, nobody replied to the email, so I just figured it would, that's what I started. All good.
Easier to track, thank you. And then discussion number 11, Marion Historic Association, Hall Center Cemetery.
Yes.
Councilman Honey.
We received an email from the Marion Historic Association. They are respectfully requesting permission for dawn graving to assist with the repair and cleanup of the Hall Center Cemetery. The Marion Historic Association will cover the cost of these services and will work to ensure that the stones most in need of repair are properly restored. Dawn graving, operated by Mr. Parker, has also expressed interest in cleaning the headstones within the cemetery as part of this effort. All work will follow appropriate preservation practices to maintain the dignity and historic integrity of the site. The project is proposed to take place during the spring of 2026, and we believe that it will greatly benefit both the cemetery and the community by preserving an important piece of local history. And they said, thank you for the consideration of the request. We look forward to your response.
Pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it as far as.
I think, and I'm sure you can agree, I think the only thing is make sure that this company has liability insurance for being on our property. That's it. But yeah, what a great opportunity. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the floor up to any public comments. Is there anyone wishing to speak at this time? Yes, Joan?
Hi, I know that I, am not aware of personnel issues, so it's really not them versus us. But I just wanted to point out the reason we were really pushing for part-time Parks and Rec supervisor was because we looked for more growth within that department. And it's really hard to do growth when you don't have someone leading the department. And our advisory board has spent a lot of time kind of doing some operational things that we probably I shouldn't say shouldn't do, but as an advisory board, you really want to be working on promoting more programs and looking at the bigger picture. And everything we've done so far has pointed to, without a Parks and Rec supervisor, director, whatever you want to do it, it's hard to make that growth happen. We just don't have that key point person. And it was, I know last year we were looking at software, and we wanted to promote that, but when we looked at the programs, there was no key person that could implement the program. So until you can identify someone that can help run that program, it's hard to even collect the data that you need to keep promoting the program. So I understand about fiscal responsibility. Just wanted to throw that out there that, we're continuing as we are, but it's hard to promote growth when we don't have that key person.
Thank you, Joan. Any other public comment this time? Yes, Barb?
I just wondered if the senior, the account clerk, is that a competitive position?
Actually, the title, the civil service title for that is listed on the most current approved health civil service program,
Okay.
which allows
Right.
towns to bypass kind of the,
So you won't be canvassing, or you will canvass, or no?
well, I mean, it'll be a very active application and interview
Okay,
phase, yes.
okay.
Yes. Any other? Yes, go ahead.
Just a quick update from the Historic Association.
Yep.
We recorded 65 visitors this past month. Our next open day is Sunday, September 21st. Then we're also open for the Fall Festival. We had a busy month in August. We had the Newark Marion Railroad presentation. We had 29 people attend, and then we welcomed all the new staff from the Marion Central School through the building and all the administrators.
Great, thank you. Any other public comment this time? Anybody from the school, high school students? Yeah? No, do you have public comment?
I don't have a conflict.
Okay.
I'm just pointing out that I am a husband.
That's right, all right, thank you. Thank you. All right, moving on to our committee reports, Deputy Supervisor.
Calendars are distributed, the farmer's market's still in full force on Friday afternoon at the town park. Please take time out of your day to stop up there on Friday to visit the vendors. The tractor pull, the garden tractor show is coming up on the 19th and the fall tractor pull is 20th. And the 302, the Marion Museum is open this month, and that's pretty cool. And I did address the sign on North Main Street with the highway department that we talked about earlier. That's all I have.
Town clerk.
I'm going to ask Heidi to speak.
So the town clerk's office has been very busy with school taxes, which started on September 2nd. We've also been busy selling hunting licenses. We seem to have done more this year than we did last year, so very busy.
Thank you. Water and sewer.
Yeah, the Marion plant is up and running, pumping sewage to Palmyra. They're also monitoring the emptying of the lagoons at this time. And Watts is continuing their, design to, demolish the, lab. And they hope to have an answer by next month.
Thank you. I thought this would be a good opportunity from the late email we received from Marty about the collection of sewer rents and their desire to remove the collection of sewer rents from local municipalities, which originally we all agreed that we would like to keep that service just because it is a service to our citizens and it promotes, getting on the house, saying hi, coming down to town hall, reading the bulletin board, socializing, all the good stuff. Their tune has changed a little bit because of now, I guess some municipalities are pulling out, so they have kind of like a hodgepodge of what to track. And I know from the clerk's standpoint, based on the email that was sent, that they would like to maintain the collections in the town of Marion. Looking for thoughts and opinions on that. What that would look like in the future. I know it's really no skin off our back to make those collections, and we are allowed to charge back a small, reasonable fee for those services. But again, I don't really want to push back too much on what the authority wants to do at this point. But I would like to keep collecting them, at least for the first year, to see how it goes. But to Marty's point, everything is gone online. A lot of people don't even leave their house anymore to pay these bills. But of course, we still have always a select few of people who do show up and pay their bills.
I know that I had talked with Heidi about this earlier, and she's just given me a copy of the email thread that she sent to Marty that Marion would really like to continue to do this, and his response was if all towns worked as well as Marion does, this would probably not be an issue. So unfortunately, we may be forced to make the change due to the factors in the email, along with complaints they received from other towns, not our town.
Right.
So this was definitely not something that was due to an inability of Marion's part of doing anything incorrectly. So we want to make sure that you know that we do everything on the up for that. So
can we vote that we want to keep it for now and see where it goes? Or?
I'd like to keep it as long as possible, as the clerk's office has that we submitted. I don't know what the water authority end game is.
yeah,
Well,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I would too, because I think it could be seen as one more thing that makes it harder for residents to do things, especially residents who maybe aren't digitally savvy. I know when I looked at paying a water bill online a year or so ago, there was a fee attached to it.
I think it's like $2 or $3. It's like $2.95, I think, right now. It was like $1.95, and then they increased it like $1, I think.
Yeah, but still for some people, that's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
That
So I
is.
mean, I think in order to serve our residents and keep in mind of, although I'm inching up there, the challenges of seniors, and navigating different systems, I think it would be a shame to take it away from, I've been in the office when people have come in to pay their bills, and it's like, it's like their social outing, like, you know, going to the local diner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my vote would be to keep it.
To play devil's advocate, I think what Marty's getting at is there may not be, we may not have a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may not have a choice, but if we do have a choice, I think we should choose to keep it
And then see where it goes.
and
So
see
for,
where
for
we
right,
go.
right, so for right now, we have until January first.
Right.
So, you know, it would be my opinion just to leave it as it is
Status quo.
until we get the hammer down, or we do have to take action, on a board level.
Yep.
Because we already said that we were collecting the last quarter of rents, so that's what we're gonna do. David, do you know of anything in the contract that would, you know, force them to?
I don't recall there being a provision specifically saying that they could override the will of the town board as a collection of sewer rents that is pursuant to a town sewer rent law.
Right.
So the only thing that you would vote on is if you were to decide to go the other direction. But since the current status quo is that you're already collecting it,
Yeah.
there's nothing to vote on.
Right.
So I think it's simply a request from Marty at this point, and if they try to suggest that it's something they could force upon you, we could address that legal issue as it arises.
Okay. Sounds good.
So do we wanna get back to Marty and tell him what we're doing? At this point, based on those,
Well, if I do email him in response, it's literally just gonna say we will continue collecting sewer rents. It'd be very simple, short and
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I think is necessary, just so he knows we've addressed it.
Yeah. Public safety, so again, we've talked about the vandalism up at the park, you know, I think that's a big one. It seems to be a little more frequent. Again, it is in the summertime though, kind of monitor it, see if school starts back up, if it slows down. But I did want to ask, you know, with the images we got off the camera for the person of interest with the door, the bathroom door, did anyone call the police or make a police report or?
I was up there, when the police came, he was just going to do an incident and wasn't going to pursue any further.
Okay. Have we received that incident report?
I don't believe so. He didn't seem like he really wasn't sure what to do. Let's put it that way. Wasn't sure how to move forward.
I can check on that.
Yeah.
Judicial, library, and parks and rec.
Okay. Judicial, no concern, judges' reports are in the packet, and the JCAP grant is being applied for 2026. Library, continues to offer amazing programming and opportunities for the residents. They did have some gazebo damage that has been taken care of by the highway department, which they sanded the graffiti away, when Tracy asked for help. One of the reasons I specifically wanted to mention this incident, because I feel like a lot of times young people are getting a really bad rap about how horrible and unproductive they are. And Tracy shared the story that she was alerted to the gazebo having damage and graffiti on it by 2 or 3, let me see what she wrote. 2 or 3 young teens called the police when they noticed it on their own, and Officer McBride came and wrote a report, and then they reported it to Tracy when she came to the library. And I think my understanding of her sharing it is that they were pretty kind of pleased with themselves that they noticed it and did something. So I really wanted that mentioned because I think not all kids are doing destructive, careless things. Let's see. Since the incident occurred over a weekend, she was unaware of it until Monday when the kids told her about it. The video recording of the incident is a bit hard to determine exactly, but she's pretty sure that she knows about which groups of kids were involved in it, and they're not library regulars. For now, it has been resolved. The gazebo's been addressed. It was reported, and also internally at the library with an incident report. And then she brought up in this when I'd asked, speaking of repairs, the gazebo could use some work, but most of all, I'd like to remind the town board of the library building exterior signage. Steve Shute originally created it and retouched them up several years ago, but they are once again very faded, making them difficult to read and shabby looking. So she wanted this put on our radar. The other thing I wanted to mention that they did is they had a author from London that was in town and came into the library, and she has books in the library and did an author signing. This author is also an actress and has had appearances in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows and many BBC and television programs. And she was in town visiting family of her husband. September is Library Card Sign Up Month, and they have a promotion for that going with Stonehenge Cafe, encouraging people to sign up to get their OWL library card. And then Stonehenge is offering a discount on Fridays in September to any customers who come in and show their OWL library card. They're set to kick off their annual Great Give Back, where they'll be collecting classroom wish list donations from patrons to support Marion teachers at all school levels, elementary, middle, and high school. And she said you can view on the website or visit the library for the list. They're also starting their collecting book donations for their annual book sale, sponsored by the Friends of the Marion Library's annual fundraiser, which will be October 4th on Fall Fest. And they can only accept books in excellent conditions. So please no textbooks, old encyclopedias, or outdated books, or books in poor condition. And those books going on, those are also, you can get access to information on them on their website. And I'm also probably gonna say even their Facebook page. So, Parks and Rec, soccer finished, and I wanted to give a shout out to Sarah Griffin's report that she sent out a thank you to the parents who found shin guards and refilled water bottles during the game. Thank you to siblings who played together on the playground. A shout out to the coaches who were great role models, and then the staff that helped recruit food vendors so that they would be up there for the soccer season. Justin Minier has started foul ball, and he's taking care of all that is connected to that. I just want to give a shout out because Justin Minier, since he's been hired as baseball softball coordinator, has gone above and beyond in his role as far as I'm concerned, and really his passion and commitment to building recreation in Marion. Kristen Sloan, who we just approved at the last meeting to be the basketball coordinator, is busy working on plans for starting the basketball program. Registration deadline for that is November 7th. And there's a Parks and Rec advisory meeting on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock at the town clerk if anyone wants to attend. And notes will be posted on the website. That's all I got.
And now that summer rec program is over for the year, I did provide each town board member with an impact report, as well as we received back the exit survey from parents. Got some good data from that to report back to the grant solicitor, which is Mation County. And then also I will be given a prettier color copy to the Department of Youth for their records as well. And then I have a copy for the Board and Rec Advisory Board as well. So just nice simple snapshot of how the camp went this year. It was very successful. Lots of positive feedback from the parents on the survey. Positive feedback on the price, on the duration of it. I mean, some even said they wish it was longer. And of course, because you can't really beat that price for daycare all day, Monday through Friday. Some were also comfortable, a lot of feedback with the price points. You know, we can look into that for the future. I know Councilman Cramer wanted to see what the budget numbers would look like for a fully funded rec program without the grant. I can give you a comparison when I handed my tentative budget, but I do plan on at least bringing it to the board if you guys do want to submit for the grant again. Solicitations are due any day for opening of the request for proposals from the county. So if we want to do that, we can. Yeah. So overall, good success Assessor.
Yes, Mike has been working with the Wayne County Sewer Authority regarding special district codes for the upcoming 2026 tax bills. And the school tax bills are out, as everyone knows, and his report is in your packet.
Historian.
Nothing to report at this time.
Zoning and Planning.
They're busy, their monthly reports in your folder. The county busy, it's slowed down a little bit overall on their county planning board, but construction season, I think, is coming to an end. There's still some projects going on.
I did just want to add too, we didn't forget about it, but Darren will be sending over a proposal. If you recall, a couple months ago, we talked about the zoning driveway laws that the planning board and zoning wanted to adjust a little bit. I think we came to consensus that we can leave the law as written and add a non-fee permit that acts as a check and balance for the code enforcement officer to make sure to go and check on the driveway once a permit is issued and make sure that they're adhering to the local law that we already have on the books. So for September 22nd, we'll have that for the board to approve the permit. And again, non-fee permit, it's just a technicality to give the code enforcement officer office a mental checklist of go check on the driveway and make sure that they're following code. Highway, really nothing to report there. I know they've been, busy gearing up, hanging banners. I've seen them mowing. I've seen them back and forth from the town of Ontario with some road work. Nothing to report there. Drainage.
Yes, we are going to be planning a meeting in October. I've talked to a couple of the members. Just gonna try to narrow down a date. I have to check with Nadine to see her availability also.
Cemetery.
They're winding down for the season, mowing. They did some painting, with the grass stopped growing. They painted around the monument, the main monument, both sides, looks really good. And, in good shape over the fall, and I know there's an approval for the tree removal work, in our package for tonight, so.
Great. And code enforcement officer.
Yeah, Darren had another busy month, issuing building permits and doing inspections, and his reports in the packet.
All right. Moving on to our resolutions. Number 1, accept town board meeting minutes for August 11th and August 25th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution number 2, authorize hiring Ontario for tree removal at the Marion Cemetery.
Move.
Second.
Discussion? I had a question on the funding. This line item only reflects $3,000. And the budget for the services of $6,000, so where are we getting the other 3 from?
So it said the resolution is $6,000 and it gives you a number.
Well, it's the service is $6,000, but the budget line item for that account is only $3,000. So, I mean, I'm fine with adding funds, it's just that's a separate, we have to do a budget amendment with that.
You may have to table that and come back to it.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Good with that? Let's take a motion to table.
Make a motion to table it till we figure out the math.
Second?
Second.
Resolution number 2, authorize hiring on to retreat for tree removal of Marion Cemetery is tabled till September 22nd. Thank you. Resolution number 3, abolish the position of Marion wastewater treatment chief operator.
Move.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Councilwoman Herman?
No.
Councilman Cramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville?
yes for regrets.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes. Resolution number 4, authorize payment of unused accumulated benefits to John Cragg, former chief operator of the Marion wastewater treatment plant.
Move.
Second.
Roll please.
Councilwoman Herman,
Yes.
Councilman Cramer.
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes. Resolution number 5, authorize hiring part-time cleaner.
Move.
Second.
Discussion, we had some discussion over the rate of pay in this resolution at $18 per hour. The budget, the remaining budget for 2025, which we are still in, reflects a rate of $15.50. And then also, the first round of interviews, it was already divulged to each applicant that that was the rate of pay with most likely a 3% COLA increase at the beginning of the year. So I just wanted to clarify that prior to passing this resolution. I have no problem with the resolution and hiring Luke and moving that forward. I just want to make sure the rate of pay is cleared up.
We checked into it with Kathy, and that's the pay that the cleaner's getting at the library, so we just wanted to be consistent with our cleaners.
So we're going to give a $3 pay increase to a position that's on the books for 2025.
We're hiring a new person, and we're gonna give them, based on what the library is getting, we're gonna be consistent.
So why wasn't Becky getting that money? Why didn't she get $18 an hour?
Well, and I don't know why the other one came up, because the people doing the second interview didn't know anything about it.
Well, you interviewed one new lady who I didn't talk to, and then Luke knew. That was it. So I just want to make sure, you know, I see kind of a couple problems. One is the past cleaner who was just, you know, resigned from that position, was not getting the $18 an hour. That is not budgeted. You know, honestly, I look at it, not to be this person, but we're then gonna turn around and hire a male at $3 more an hour 3 months later for the same job. And I think that's a red flag, and I don't like it. So I recommend that we amend this to the $15.50 an hour that is in the budget for this role, as a laborer. And
I recommend that we vote on resolutions on the board, and then you can do what you want.
I think we ought to table it, to discuss it with the candidate, because of the expectation is X, and we're offering X at 2 different numbers, so I say we table it and talk to the candidate and bring it back if they're still interested in the current rate, or the former rate, whatever that was.
the current rate is $15.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with tabling it. I'm okay with tabling it. I will just say the candidate didn't know this rate when we asked. He thought the rate he quoted was $16.25, but he did say, don't quote me on that. The other thing that I'll say is I sent out an email with everything, all the details around this layer of interviews. And it could have been, and in that email, I specifically asked you somewhere if there was a job description that was handed out. I never got a reply, and it would have been a prime opportunity for you to disclose, that information that occurred at the first round of interviews. Because potentially there could have been 2 people that we interviewed that had met with you before.
Yeah.
So, table it. Make a motion to table it, confirm with the candidates of the age is correct.
Wait.
Second.
Aye.
Resolution number 5, authorize hiring part-time cleaners to roll to 9/22. Resolution number 6, authorize highway superintendent to advertise to accept applications for MEO full-time position with LCD license at the highway department.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Cramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson?
Yes. Resolution number 7, authorize town of Marion to retain the Marion wastewater treatment plant 2017 Ford Super Duty XL.
Move.
Second?
Councilman Herman? Yes. Councilman Cramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson?
Yes. Resolution number 8, authorize request for proposal for sealing of parking lots.
Move.
Second?
Any questions on this?
Yeah, so if we're gonna put this out there for RFPs, we probably have to put a caveat in there based on, market price, right? Because they're gonna quote it today and we're not gonna do the work till 26. If the oil market changes, there might be some pricing, right? Issues. Could be less expensive or more expensive.
Well, I guess if we put those dates in the RFP for the summer of 2026, and they submit a proposal, and their quote's only good for 30 days, I mean, we would have a right to reject that proposal, and, you know, hopefully someone who submits something, they read that and say, this price is good for a year, you know. Again, there's a lot of faith in how people read, but we could try it, highlight the dates, really.
I think that's
really highlight
important
the dates.
because the market changes with petroleum-based products pretty regularly and, you know, could be even beginning of season, end of season with the changes of pricing. So I just don't want to budget and have false hope of what we're looking at and be $5,000 off.
Yeah. No, good point. All in favor? Resolution number 9, adopt local law number 1, 2025, entitled Real Property Tax Limit.
Move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Resolution number 10, authorize the use of contingency funds.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Councilwoman Herman?
Yes.
Councilman Cramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson?
Yes. Resolution number 11, amend resolution number 812-2025, authorize town board to send an RFP to repair the outdoor bathroom door and lock at the Marion Town Park Pavilion A.
Move.
Second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Resolution number 12, payment of claims.
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Do we need to write in the additional?
We're doing a separate one.
Okay.
Resolution number 13, authorize Judge Craig's credit card to be closed.
Move.
Second?
All in favor? Resolution number 14. Can I get a motion to add resolution number 14? Motion to add.
Second?
Resolution number 14 is the approval of a singular line item abstract. Can I get a motion for that? Move. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? At this time,
Excuse me.
Yep.
Heidi, what, we're gonna add 15?
That's up to you, Ron.
Yeah, for the hiring, or the ads for the hiring of the maintenance person. We had,
So we need to make a motion to have a,
I prefer to get that formalized on the agenda with the details, the line items, the amount.
we put it all together last meeting.
Right, but it's not a resolution.
All that, that's what we're doing tonight, it's a resolution. We all agreed to it last meeting, we updated the whole document.
I mean, I would prefer not to add personnel related add-on resolutions.
I'm on a resolution, then we can vote on it.
Well, we need a motion and a second to add it to the agenda.
I make a motion for a resolution to advertise for a maintenance person.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have the account number this is coming out of?
And this is starting for 2026, or this is starting currently?
This would be one,
As soon as possible, I mean, I would imagine.
Where are we taking it out of? Because we don't technically have a part-time maintenance
well, yes, we do.
role, and Jeff was being paid out of.
We do. Jeff, I don't think there's any longer charging that maintenance number that we have, we could take it out of there.
Oh. It's under building and personal services. So,
This is just for the,
okay, just to add to run it, and can we put a, application deadline on that as well? So if it starts running this week, what does everybody think, a month?
sure.
Sounds good.
30 days.
Let's say October sixth, for the deadline for applications. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Please.
Councilwoman Herman?
Yes.
Councilman Cramer?
Yes.
Councilman Lonneville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
yes.
Supervisor, yes.
No. Okay. Now at this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any additional citizen comments.
Yeah, so what day do you want your truck back? So,
Just
I
leave it
get
out
a
front,
couple of
Jeff.
days to
Just
clean
leave
it
it out
up.
front.
Huh?
Just leave it out front.
Serious question.
Yes.
When you're all set with it, they're gonna store up at the highway department, so just talk to Steve,
Alright.
okay? Yes. Barb.
Just for your information, today I put all the, recreation athletic, practices on the school facilities use calendar. Joan and I worked with the basketball coaches and adult rec, and we got everything organized. That was recreation. We did not, involve Marion Soccer Club.
Yeah.
We're letting them do that on their own. So, just so you know, there's no issues with practices.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for doing that.
Any other citizen comments at this time? Okay, well, folks, the board is going to enter into executive session to discuss a personnel-related issue. So if they say you can go home, but you can't stay here, have a good night. Thank you for coming. Signatures, feel free to come up, you can hand them off